Hello everyone, today I'll be watching Attack on Titan Season 2, Episode 3. Before I say anything about this episode, I would just like to thank you all. This channel just hit 500 subscribers and even saying this still feels unreal. I still remember back then when I started in December and my expectations for this whole thing were really low. I just wanted to try out YouTube, I wanted to gain a new experience and now I'm here, and I have to admit this whole thing exceeded even my hopes. And it's not only about these big milestones. I appreciate every single thing. I appreciate each subscriber, each like, each comment, each view, everything. So thank you for all the support you showed me. This is a moment that I will always remember, that I will always treasure in my memory. Definitely. But yeah, let's talk about this episode. So, after reading your comments and thinking everything through, I came up with some new ideas, new theories. I revamped some theories. And I won't talk about everything right now, because I don't want to make this introduction too long. And because I think that it would be for the better if I watch this episode before really going into discussing things, But there are some things which I will just quickly highlight and talk about. The first one being that most of you explained to me that actually in the previous episode it was the first time where we as the viewers learned Yumir's name. For those who watched my previous discussion, you know that I thought that her name was mentioned before, but that it was my mistake, that I missed her name, that I forgot her name. But it actually wasn't. It actually was, that moment in the previous episode was actually the first time where we learned her name. And I think this just proves one thing, and that is that she has to be important. Especially because she was featured in the openings. She was represented as one of the main characters. It always seemed as if that is the case, that she is one of the most important characters. But then we never learned her name, so it's pretty obvious that this was done on purpose, so she definitely is important. I still don't know what way of importance, I talked about this a lot in my previous discussion, but just as I said in my previous discussion, whatever she is, I believe that in any case she's connected to the Beast Titan. And there's also a big possibility that she, at least she is now my main candidate for being the second spy. So if she is the second spy within the Survey Corps, then she is connected with Annie, and if Annie is connected with her, then Annie is also connected to the Beast Titan. So that could mean that maybe the Beast Titan is cooperating with the female Colossal and Armor Titan, as opposed to what I said in the previous discussion when I was thinking that they probably are not cooperating, that they probably are not connected. And I still am leaning towards this possibility. I still believe that the Beast Titan and the Colossal Titan are not cooperating, have no connections whatsoever. But they could be cooperating. Everything is possible at this point. So, and before I finish about talking about Ymir, there's also just one thing I want to highlight. I want to highlight the fact that I just realized why, I now understand why she wasn't featured so much. I always highlighted the fact that it's so strange that she was presented she's always presented as a main character, but she always gets the screen time of a side character. So I always thought that this is really interesting, and now I think I understand it, because if they were to feature her a lot more, then I would quickly realize and start to notice the fact that her name is not being mentioned. So because of her having so little screen time, that's why I never really thought about her. That's why I never really felt that there's something suspicious about her. And because of this, I now am really afraid of Bertolt. Because it's the same thing with him. His screen time was so limited And he had some mysterious scenes, and now knowing that they did that with Ymir on purpose, that they were trying to keep her on the side because in reality she plays such an important role in the story, what if maybe that's the same case with Berthold? And that really scares me. Because I said in my discussion for episode 1 that there's something strange about him. And then of course, because of that, we also have to think about all the other characters which are involved with these two. By that I mean, look at Christa. She's always with Ymir. She could be a potential threat. She could be maybe a Titan shifter also. And then I used this same thought process with Berthold. If Berthold is in fact a Titan shifter, could that possibly mean that also Reiner is? Because they're hanging out so much and they're probably the best friends? And as I was thinking about this, I started to question, well, could Reiner be a Titan shifter? And then I realized that his hair looks the same as of the armored Titan. And then I realized that there's a chance that when he escaped from the hands of the female Titan, it wasn't because of his skill, it was actually because Annie purposely has let him go. Because they're cooperating. I think it was when the female Titan was introduced, when she grabbed him and it looked like she smashed him, but in fact he escaped. Could that be the case? And as I was thinking about this, then I slowly started to cool off. And I started to think in the other direction. Because, for one, I don't want Reiner to be the armored Titan. I don't know, he's such a likable character and I really like him. I don't know, he would be such a great friend, you know. He showed a lot of times that he cares and wants to help others. He's a capable soldier, he has a hilarious personality. I really like him. It would be such a shame if he would be the armored Titan. I just don't want that to happen. And I think that both of these things, his haircut and the fact that he escaped from the female Titan, I think that these two things do not prove that he's the armored Titan. So if we not first talk about the haircut, he has this almost identical haircut as the armored Titan. And this isn't a proof because look at the Annie and the female Titan. She doesn't have the same haircut as the female Titan. They do have the same hair color, but their haircuts are different. Also Eren. Yes, his Titan has the same hair color as him, but he doesn't have the same hairstyle. He even has much longer hair than Eren. So I think that you cannot judge, you cannot tell if someone is a Titan user just by looking at their hair. I don't believe that. I actually have a feeling that this might be a trap. That maybe this is something that the creator wanted to do so that we as viewers would maybe think that Reiner is the armored Titan. And then the other thing, which is when he escaped Annie, well, Annie also spared Armin. So there's a chance that she also spared Reiner, you know? So none of these things prove that he's the armored Titan. I will say though that there's a possibility that could be true, but I don't know, he always was so worried now hearing that Walrosse has potentially fallen. He always, he really showed heart and the will to fight for humanity. I never thought that he could be the armored Titan. I just don't see it. I just don't see that he with his personality could be the armored Titan. I don't want to believe it. And it would be so strange if that would be the case, because if let's say that he's the armored Titan, then who's the colossal Titan? Maybe Berthold? So that would mean that all of these Titans, the female, the armored, and the colossal Titan are all the same age as Eren. I don't know, it would just feel weird that such a coincidence happened that they are all of the same age. Maybe one explanation which could be here, which I could see, is that maybe there's someone who is forcing children to work for him, And so maybe he forced Rainer and Berthold and Annie when they were children, and he forced them to take the serum and then to be the Titan shifters and work for him. Something like this. Or I could see this happening. But other than that, I don't know, it just feels as a too big of a coincidence for me to believe that someone else of these young recruits of Eren's generation is one of the armored and colossal Titan. I just don't believe it. I don't know. That's why I never thought about this possibility before. That's why I was also in denial that maybe Annie is the female Titan, because it just feels so weird that there are so many of Eren's basically classmates, who are also Titan shifters. I don't know, it just feels weird. I guess I'll just have to see, but I just wanted to say that I don't believe that Rainer is a Titan shifter. I believe that Ymir is. With Berthold, I have no idea. He could be. With Christa also, I don't know. She could be, but I also don't believe. I don't know her personality, I just don't see it. It's the same thing with Rainer. So definitely Ymir and Berthold are now high on my list for the potential candidates for the identity of the Colossal and Armored Titan. But I definitely wouldn't be surprised if at the end Rainer or Christa are also Titan shifters. That's what I'm trying to say. I guess we'll just have to see. And just one thing before I go into this episode. While I was editing the thumbnail for my previous reaction, I just really thought about the possible ways as to how that Titan could appear in Conny's house. Because, as it was stated, that Titan cannot possibly move because of those tiny legs. So someone had to carry that Titan at that place, or that Titan just appeared there. And if that's the case, could it be that maybe that Titan is Conny's sister? And I'll explain why I think that this is the case. First of all, as I said, that Titan appeared there. Could it be that maybe the Beast Titan or maybe someone else has some special powers which can turn a regular human into a standard Titan? And if that's the case, maybe, I don't know, if it's the Beast Titan, maybe the Beast Titan was in Conny's village and decided to transform Conny's sister into a Titan. And that's why that Titan is now lying in that house, because it's the place where she transformed. And the other thing why I specifically think it's Conny's sister, well, because of the appearance of the Titan. Those bones were sticking out of that Titan. The Titan looked as if it's underweight. That Titan had tiny hands, legs. It just felt as if something went wrong. As if maybe the person who transformed didn't have enough power to transform. And it would make sense, because Conny's sister, if we judge by his memory, looked like a, 6-year-old child. Imagine a 6-year-old child transforming. And maybe her body just wasn't strong enough. And when the Beast Titan transformed her, that's what happened. A sort of weird transformation where she is a Titan, but she's not able to move because she didn't transform properly. So yeah, and that's I think the last thing which I wanted to say before going into this episode. Of course, there are a lot of other things which I would love to talk about right now, but I think for the better of this video, I would just now go and watch this episode first. Oh, look at Berthold. Something's wrong with him, man. Could there be a possibility that maybe each villager transformed into a titan? Oh! Oh! I said it! So he thought he heard his mom. Oh, the opening I have to... Southwestward. I have no idea what that means.
なぜですか。これより南に人はいないはずでは。破壊された壁の位置を特定しなければならない。西側から壁沿いに走って探そう。私とクリスタは戦闘装備がないんですよ。一旦前線から引かせてください。ユミル。ダメだ。連絡要員は一人でも確保しておきたい。気持ちはわかるが、兵士を選んだ以上は覚悟してくれ。
私はここで最善を尽くしたい。だって私は自分で調査兵団を選んだんだから。あなたは私に憲兵団を目指すよう促すばかりか、その権利さえ渡そうとした。私の実力が今期の10番以内に見合うはずがない。私の生まれた家と関係ある。
ある。私がここにいるのは全て自分のためなんだ。
そっか。よかった。
Man, everything is so weird. Oh, this guy. Oh, is that Rico? Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking now. Walrus hasn't fallen. The Beast Titan is probably has transformed every villager, and that's why those titans appeared. Yeah, this looks wrong. Oh shit. Oh, come on.
このまま穴に近づいていけば、その瞬間は必ず訪れる。ちくしょう、おかしくなりそうだ。
Yeah. There isn't a hole.
ここから西に異常は見つからなかった。そっちが見つけたんじゃないの？
いや、
見落とした可能性は？
ありえない。巨人が通れるほどの破壊跡だぞ。
Yeah.
もう一度確認してみるか。
そうすべきだが、さすがに馬も我々も疲労が限界に来てる。
あれは城跡か。
Okay.
多少荒れてるが、一晩休む分には問題なさそうだな。アンジュ。おい、クソメガネ。お前はただの石ころで遊ぶ。
型の巨人が残した硬い皮膚の破片だ。消えてない。そう、兄が巨人化を解いて体から切り離されてもこの通り。壁の破片と見比べたらその模様の配列や構造が
Yeah,
よく似ていた
interesting.
んだ。つまりあの壁は大型巨人が支柱になっていて、その表層は硬化した皮膚で形成されていると考えていい。じゃまた言わせてくれ、アルミ。でも、もし巨人化したエレンが硬化する巨人の能力で壁の穴を塞げるのだとしたら、かける価値は大いにあると思います。それにそのやり方が可能ならボールマリアの奪還も明るいですよね。なるほど、少数だけなら一気にボールマリアまで行けるかもしれないのか。
But there's no proof that Eren can actually do this, right?
それでも希望はあるもんなんだね。
I mean, he probably can, but I don't know if he's able to control it to that extent.
こんなことを聞かれても困ると思うんだけど、それってできそう？
できそうかどうかじゃねえだろ。やれ、やるしかねえだろ。こんな状況か。
はい、俺が必ず穴を塞ぎます。地下室、俺んちの地下室だ。親父の言葉が本当ならそこに全ての答えがあるはずだ。
おい、止まるな。迷子になっちまうだろうが。
これも
そりゃこうなるに決まってる。壁が破壊されちまってんだから、お前らの望みが叶って壁の中を巨人で満たすことに成功すれば、みんな巨人のくせえ口の中で人生最悪の気分を味わい、その生涯を終える。人類全員仲良くな。
何か気持ちの変化はありましたか？
私は話せない。
Interesting.
他の教徒もそれは同じで変わることはないだろう。
俺はどうもわざわざ教えてくれて助かったよ。
我々は話せない。だがその大いなる意志により監視するよう命じられた人物の名なら教えることができる。
監視？
その子の名は。
失礼します。104機調査兵サシャ・ブラースです。
Oh.
あいつ。
誰？
分隊長殿、これを。
とにかく彼女を連れてこい。
その子104機だから今は。
He probably meant Ymir. Yeah, probably.
とにかく急がないと。
教官殿から分隊長宛ての書類をお預かりしました。
書類？わかった。ご苦労さん。その104機の子は誰なの？
あの一番小さい子ですよ。
金髪。
Oh no, it's Christa.
ユミルといつも一緒にいる子です。
ユミル。
Oh, and maybe Hanji now realized. She read Ilza's notebook, right?
ユミル。お前。
Everything is, I don't know. There's so much information flowing around.
なんでだよ。なんでまだ動いてんだ。日没からかなり時間が経ってるのに。なんだあいつは。巨人。
Oh no.
なんかあれは獣じゃねえか。あいつ壁の方に。とにかく前線に。
落ち着けやれ。お前らも聞け。ここからは別行動だ。あとは任せたぞ。分かってるな、アルミ。お前は今後もハンジと知恵を絞れ。
はい。
ミカサ、エレンを守ることに使う。
はい、もちろんです。
それからな、エレン。
Oh, there's a lot of them.
お前は自分を抑制しろ。怒りに溺れて本質を見失うな。今度こそしくじるなよ。
はい。
Oh god, just as I said, a ton of new information was just thrown at me during this episode. Wow, this just feels like those, domino blocks, if you know what I mean. It just feels like as if they were setting up everything from the first season, and now the start of the second season, and just everything is slowly starting to fall together, and everything is getting crazier. And the first thing which I'll address is what I also talked in the introduction, and I'm glad I talked about this in the introduction, because I really had a feeling that in this episode I thought that Conny will see some facial similarities and realize that Titan is probably his sister. Well, it's not his sister, that's what I thought, that's the case. It's actually his mother. I thought that it's his sister because of the whole structure of that Titan. It just felt like maybe, as I said, his sister transformed into a Titan, and she didn't have enough power to sustain that transformation to be able to fully transform into a Titan. And also, I said that I have a feeling that Walrus has not fallen because they haven't shown us that. And that's also the case. So I think now there's no denial that it's probably the Beast Titan who's doing this, that the Beast Titan has the ability to transform a human to a regular type Titan. Although, I don't know if they're fully just regular casual Titans, if I say so. Because one person at the castle said, and was surprised by the fact that these Titans are moving because there's no sunlight. That's something that was strange, but anyways, it seems like as if the Beast Titan has this power to do this. So, what he did is, just that it was shown here, he's climbing on the walls. So he climbed over Walrose and started transforming ordinary people into Titans. That's also why they were, as one of the soldiers pointed out, the horses stayed in that village. There was no traces of blood, and they didn't find any bodies. Well, that's because those people in that village transformed. If we now look furthermore, I think here in this episode, I think because of this, specifically this the fact that probably the Beast Titan was transforming humans into Titans, I think because of this, now we can sort of understand why these Titans, these normal looking Titans exist. I was always wondering myself, why do they exist, Have they used a lesser version of a serum? Of a serum which Eren used? Why do they exist? Why is their intellect so much lower than those of the Titan Shifters? Why can Titan Shifters shift from a human to Titan body? Those are kind of the questions which were going through my head. And now, looking at this, I think here's the answer. If I revisit my theory about there possibly being a Titan land, occupied continent, where there's a Titan society, and I said that there's a society which consists of Titan Shifters and Titans. So, I think that's the case, of course, and that those who are Titan Shifters have used that serum on them, which Eren used, that's why they are, or something like this, which granted them Titan shifting powers, and then they transformed some of the other humans into ordinary Titans. Why? I don't know why. I guess because they want to use them, just as the Beast Titan is doing. He's using these Titans into his own advantage. So, the only question here is, is the Beast Titan the only one capable of doing this? Or are there multiple Titan shifters doing this? Or can each Titan shifter do this? So can Eren do this? I think there's a chance, because as Hanji and Armin came to the conclusion that maybe Eren can do the same things which Annie is doing, so that means that maybe Eren can do the same things as the Beast Titan is doing. When Hanji thought that maybe Eren can possibly also harden his skin. We never have seen that before, I think. So there's no proof that he can actually do it. But I think they just assume that if Annie can do it, he can do it. So that's why I'm now assuming that if the Beast Titan can do it, so does Eren possibly can. And also one question which I have here, can this be undone? Is this just something that if the Beast Titan changes you into a Titan, does that then mean that you're a Titan for eternity? I mean, can he retransform you into a human? And if that's the case, if he can do it, can maybe Eren do that? So that would potentially mean that maybe Eren can save Conny's family. I suppose his whole family members were transformed into a Titan. And then the next question which I have is, how is the Beast Titan doing this? I mean, it's gotta be him, right? He's the one who's climbing over the walls. That's how he got into the Walarosa territory. It just makes sense that he's the one doing this. And those Titans are obeying him. And here at the end, there were a lot of the same Titans, which were also present when Mika died. So I think it's clear that this guy, the Beast Titan, is doing this. I'm wondering how is he doing this? And I'm wondering, why didn't he do that to Mika? I mean, Mika could be another Titan, another soldier. He just left Mika to die. That's interesting. Maybe he just wanted Mika to suffer. I don't know. But yeah, I have a lot of questions regarding this. And the next thing which really stood out in this episode is, of course, Ymir and Christa. And as I said in my introduction, definitely Ymir was really suspicious to me. I mean, it's obvious because of her name. I really felt bad about what could that represent. And I also felt suspicious about Berthold because as I said, just the sheer fact that he also was wrapped in mystery, that he also was presented as a main character, but felt more of like a side character. And I just thought that they're trying to hide something about him. And eventually, because I was suspicious about Ymir and Berthold, I was also suspicious about Rainer and Christa. But not that much. As I said, I really didn't feel that there's something weird about Rainer or Christa because of the reasons which I mentioned in my introduction. But now it's pretty evident that also Christa has a huge plot role, just as Ymir does. The first thing which was suspicious about Christa is when she was talking to Ymir. If I understood that scene correctly, Ymir basically was bad on purpose or something like that, so that Ymir didn't make it to the top 10, so that Christa made it instead when they had their graduation. Or she did something else, I don't know, she did something, and because of that she enabled Christa to get into the top 10. And Ymir wanted Christa to join the police brigade. So, if I now understand correctly, I don't remember anymore, but if I understood this whole scene correctly, Christa was in the top 10. Ymir wasn't, right? And Ymir wanted Christa to join the police brigade. So if Christa would join the police brigade, that would mean that Ymir wouldn't, right? So this thing proves that this is not about Ymir wanting to be friends with Christa. It's not that Ymir wanted to go to the police brigade and that she wanted to bring Christa with her. Ymir wants to protect Christa. And then also that priest at the end, Nick, said that her father is the one who they have sworn to, I think, that they won't tell anyone the secret, and that her father wanted them to protect Christa. There's a ongoing theme about that they have to protect Christa, and it seems like that's what Ymir is trying to do. I don't know why exactly, but she's trying to protect her. Could that mean that Ymir is also cooperating with the religion? Possibly. And the religious leaders decided that Ymir will be Christa's personal bodyguard. I don't know, but it definitely seems as if she's trying to protect her. And it's weird, because you're wondering what could that mean? Because Christa wanted to join the Survey Corps. That's why in the introduction I also said I don't have a feeling that she could potentially have some connections with the Titans or anything like that, because, her personality is one thing. The second thing is, as it was evident in this episode, she really it was her own choice, Christa's own choice, to join the Survey Corps. I just get a sense that maybe she's not aware of who she really is. And then comes the next question: who is she in reality? Who was her father? Why do they have to protect her? I was a bit confused at that part, because at first, when that priest was talking, I thought he meant Sasha, because Sasha just entered and she said her name. I just thought, is it her? And then as the priest was talking furthermore, it was evident that it's not Sasha and that it's someone who's in the front line. And then I made the instant connection: oh, it's probably Ymir. It's Ymir who are they trying to protect. But it's not, it's Christa. That's the thing. It just seems reversed. I just thought that maybe Christa is potentially protecting Ymir, that she is her companion because of Ymir's own importance. But it looks like it's the other way around, which is weird, because that Titan thought that Ilse is Ymir. Most probably, right? And he bowed to her. He respected her. He said welcome to her, to Ilse. So by that we can make an assumption that Ymir is extremely important, that maybe she's, I don't know, as I said, maybe she is a Titan shifter and is one of the leaders of the Titan society. Maybe she's the queen of the Titan society. But now it seems as if she's the bodyguard of Christa. That would mean that Christa is even more important than her. That's interesting. And then also Hanji, as I said, realized when, I think it was Mikasa, said that Christa is always spending her time with Ymir. And it seems as if Hanji realized and remembered what was written in Ilse's notebook. And speaking of Ymir, Reiner somewhat caught her doing something. He said to her, he was really shocked and said something to her in the lines of, "What does this mean?" And her face was weird, creepy. I don't know how to exactly explain. There's so many countless possibilities on what each thing could mean. But I think there's some things which are clear. Christa and her family, especially her father, it seems, are extremely important. And I don't know to what degree Christa is aware of this. I don't know if she's exactly aware that how important she is. I don't know why they're important, but she is important to Ymir, and she is important to the religious leaders. And also there's something, of course, as I said, wrong, something weird with Ymir herself, just as Reiner now caught her doing something. I don't know what could that be. But yeah, there's something wrong about her. And Berthold. There's something wrong about Berthold. I think now it's safe to say, because at the beginning, when they were in that village and one of the female soldiers was talking about how there's a big chance that everyone in Conny's village escaped because there's no trace of blood, Berthold was just looking so weird. There's something about him, and I don't know what's he's aware of who he is in reality, but I do believe that he could be a Titan shifter, because if we remember his backstory, when he was talking to Eren and said, when that Titan when he opened the window of his house and then there was a Titan standing, I always asked myself, what happened? How did he escape? It could be that he transformed into a Titan. It could be. I don't know. So let's continue with the episode breakdown. So this episode started where the previous ended. In Conny's home village, Conny and the rest of the soldiers there were trying to find any survivors, any traces of humans, and they haven't found anyone. So Conny immediately came to the conclusion that, well, his whole village died, which made him cry. And I think in that particular moment, when we have seen Reiner's reaction, I think that just proves that he's not in any way a Titan shifter or has anything to do with the colossal armored female Titan or with the religious leaders or with Ymir, unless he's just an amazing actor. I think because in that scene it was shown how he shared the pain with Conny. He really feels like a true soldier, like that he really understands for what he's fighting for, and he always felt to me like an honest guy. I think lying, manipulating, I think that's not something that I would associate with Reiner. I just think he's one of the rare, true, brave and honest soldiers of humanity. And at the same time, why I also think that he really felt Conny's pain is because he also values home a lot. Because I remember in the third episode when he said to, I think, Eren and Armin, that his only goal is to get home. So he definitely understood Conny's pain when Conny sort of started to think that his whole village is gone forever. The only thing that I kind of forgot here is, are Reiner and Berthold from the same village? I think they both said that they lived in the mountains, but I can't quite remember if they are from the same village, if they lived in the same village. So on the other hand, Berthold, I'm not quite sure how to pronunciate his name, because I think in the subtitles it says Berthold, but I think in the show they usually call him Bertold. For now I'll stick to saying Berthold because it's a bit easier for me to pronunciate it, but if I'm wrong then feel free to correct me. So Berthold, on the other hand, he looked really suspicious in that scene, especially now because at this point I have just finished editing my reactions, so I have seen again all these scenes. And he does look a bit suspicious, but at the same time maybe I was overreacting while I was watching this episode. Maybe I'm just overcomplicating everything, just as I did with Erwin back when I thought that maybe Erwin is the colossal titan, and then everything he did was immediately suspicious to me. So maybe I'm doing the same thing here with Berthold. Maybe there's nothing wrong with him. Maybe that's just his personality. He's more of a introvert. He doesn't really show his emotions. But still, I don't know. Especially after what happened with Ymir and then Christa, that both of them who were not getting a big amount of screen time are now probably one of the most important characters in this show. So seeing that they did the same thing with Berthold, that he was presented as a main character and then was sort of put aside, wrapped in mystery, I just can't help myself to think that there's something wrong with him. So as I said, maybe I'm overreacting, but I really truly believe that he's hiding something. And my feeling is that he is actually the second spy. I still remember in episode, I think it was 15, when Hanji's Titans, Bin and Sonny died, that Eld and Günther, when they were talking, they said that there had to be another spy within the Sorvi Corps. And I think it's him. I mean, the first reason is, of course, the fact that in a way my mindset changed a bit. Like in the first season, I never suspected anyone from these 104th Training Corps to be having some secrets, to be lying. Like before seeing the female Titan, I never suspected anyone of being a traitor, a spy, or being a Titan shifter. Like no one, because they just seemed so innocent. You know, they're 16. They all seemed to be Eren's friends, so I never suspected anyone. But now seeing that Annie was the female Titan, that Ymir has some connections with the Titans, Christa also, it seems, and then Berthold having this weird behavior, this whole thing just changed my mindset. And my mindset now is that I don't view these 104th Training Corps, Eren's generation, as so innocent anymore. You know, I'm now suspecting, basically, I can now suspect everyone of being guilty of something, if you understand me. If you would have asked me in season 1 if I believe that maybe Berthold could be the Colossal Titan, I would say no. But now I do believe that that's a possibility. So that's the number one reason. The second reason is, of course, that I believe that Berthold has also a special role in this story. Like I think there is a secret behind him, because, as I said, he got the same treatment as Ymir did, and Ymir definitely has some big, mysterious secrets behind her. The same with Christa, so I believe that also Berthold has some of his secrets. That's why he was always wrapped in this mystery. My third reason why I'm is that, well, there are not a lot of candidates to choose from Eren's generation, from the 104th Training Corps. You know, I definitely don't believe it's Eren, I don't believe it's Mikasa, Armin, or Jean. And speaking of Jean, we haven't seen him in this season yet. That's interesting, I'll come back to this later, but to continue on my point, Annie, we know that she is one of the spies. I don't believe it's Conny, and I don't believe it's Reiner because of their personalities. They both are really honest. I don't believe that they could be spies, that they could be making some plots against humanity. I don't believe it. Also, I don't think Sasha is. If anyone is honest, it's probably Sasha. So I don't think Sasha is a traitor, a spy. So then we're only left with Ymir, Christa, and Berthold, which are my main candidates for who could be potentially the second spy. Because they all are mysterious, they all have their secrets. At least it seems so. And I don't believe it's Christa, because it seems as if she's not aware of the whole thing. It seems as if she is important. I don't know in what regard, in what category is she important, but she's extremely important. But it seems as if she's not aware of it. That's just my feeling, because it felt really, when she said to Ymir that it was her choice to join the Survey Corps, it felt real, it felt honest. I think she really joined the Survey Corps to fight for humanity, so I don't believe that she could be the second spy. So then we are left with Ymir and Berthold. So both of them could be the second spy, that's for sure. But I think it's a bigger chance for Berthold. Because for one, as I said, I think that Ymir has some connections with the Titans. But I think she has more of like a, ancient connection. Like I think she's more connected to the Beast Titan than the female Colossal and Armored Titan. That's just my feeling from every information that we got till now. And as I always said, I don't think that the Colossal, Armored and Female Titan are cooperating with the Beast Titan. I think these are two different fractions, different groups, and I think if I had to put Ymir in one group, it would be with the Beast Titan. I think she's more connected with him than anyone else. So that's one thing. The other thing is that if we look with whom Annie was spending her time in those brief moments where we have seen her before the female Titan arc, I don't remember her spending any time with Ymir or Christa. I think in most of the scenes she was with Reiner and Berthold, if I'm not mistaken. There aren't enough scenes of Annie, or at least I don't remember them to to really make some solid conclusions out of this, but it definitely could be an indicator that maybe Annie and Berthold are both spies and that they're cooperating. So it could be that Berthold is the Colossal or the Armored Titan. If you really think about it, it would make a lot of sense, because maybe they had a pact that Annie will go to the police brigade and Berthold will go to the Survey Corps. That's how Annie was aware of what the Survey Corps is doing, because Berthold was giving her information of what's happening. That's why the female Titan was ready to attack them when their whole expedition started. And her being in the police brigade, no one would ever suspect her. I remember when this whole thing started, they said that there has to be a spy within the Survey Corps. You see, no one suspected that someone from the police brigade would be the female Titan or any of the spies. Why? Because, well, she's inside Walshina. There's a large distance between her and the Survey Corps expeditions, so how would she know anything about their plans? How would she get all the information? So it makes sense that Berthold and Annie made a plan that he will go to the Survey Corps, he will leak any important information to her, and then she will be the one who acts, because no one will ever suspect her, because she's a part of the military police brigade, not the Survey Corps. So that would make sense. Maybe I'm just overreacting, but those are just my feelings regarding Berthold. So yeah, moving on, then, of course, Conny has heard that Titan speak and he thought it was his mother, which probably is the case. It just makes the most sense that everyone within that village transformed into a Titan. And I talked about this a lot already in my post-reaction thoughts. And then Reiner sort of reminded him that they have to go. At first, when seeing Reiner's reaction, at first I got a sense that maybe he heard that Titan speaking and that he just tried to brush it away and that he wanted to sort of make Conny forget the fact that he heard his mother speaking. But I don't know, it felt genuine, it felt real. As I said, I think Reiner is one of the most honest guys in this show. In his face, it was just evident that he just is aware of the whole weight of this thing when he said to Conny that there are so many countless soldiers fighting all the time. Real soldiers put the mission first, and so on. I think at this point it's safe to assume that there's nothing wrong with him. I don't believe that he could be a spy, a traitor, a Titan shifter, or anything like this, unless he's just an exceptional actor. That's just something. So I think his emotions are real. After that, we had this scene where Ymir asked that short-haired blonde lady, I can't remember her name, but I know that she has been around now for a while. I remember that she had a few interactions already with Christa, because they didn't have any equipment. Ymir and Christa, Ymir asked that woman if they could retreat. That woman refused and said that that a soldier cannot abandon his mission. And then there was that interaction between Christa and Ymir. Christa said that she joined the Survey Corps because she wanted to, but that she's aware that Ymir didn't want to join the Survey Corps. She asked Ymir why did she join, and also asked if it's because of her family. And then Ymir said, yeah, it has to do something with her family. And then also Ymir said that Christa shouldn't worry because she is there because she wants to be. So, and then Christa was relieved and was smiling, and Ymir made a creepy face. I don't know why. What could that face, I don't know, represent? But definitely what was here interesting is the fact when Christa asked Ymir if this is because of her family. So, you see here again, I think Christa is not aware of anything. I think Christa doesn't know what her family is about. I think maybe she has some slight ideas, but I think at the end, I think she's not aware of anything. That priest definitely said that he cannot tell anything, that he has sworn to Christa's father, so I can assume that Christa's father knows a lot about the Titans, at least those inside the walls. And if Christa would also know anything about those Titans or any Titan, she would probably tell it. She's fighting for the humanity. I think she's not aware of her own importance, and but on the other hand, I think Ymir knows a lot of things. Moving on, then there was a slight scene with Rico when she was fighting, and then she suspected that there's something wrong, and then we have seen Hannes and some soldiers riding alongside Wal Rose, trying to find that hole. Speaking here, just wanted to point it out. During the reaction, I didn't realize that it seems as if Hannes' voice actor changed. I didn't realize that because at that point I was talking, so I wasn't really paying attention to his voice. But now seeing the episode again, I realized that his voice actor changed. And he has the same voice actor as Flagon from No Regrets. And someone also pointed that out in No Regrets, because Flagon's voice was kind of similar to me, and I said that, and someone in the comment section said that actually Hannes has also the same voice actor, and I thought, oh, maybe that's why. But I don't believe that Hannes had this voice in season 1 already. I think they changed it, unless it's the same voice actor, but he's just talking in a different style. I don't know. I definitely preferred his old voice. I don't know. I think it suited him more. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it. Anyway, it's just something that I wanted to point out. So then Hannes' crew didn't find any hole, and then at night the group of Christa, Ymir, and the group of Conny, Rainer, and Berthold met beside the wall, as they were trying to find the hole, and at that point they realized there's probably isn't a hole inside the wall, so then they decided that they will retreat. The moonlight started to shine, and they have noticed a castle, and they went into that castle to camp overnight, I guess, there. And then we were shown how the conversation between Hanji, Eren, and everyone else, and Hanji sort of realized the similarity between Annie's crystal and the wall, and she realized that Annie's crystal didn't disappear, as usually when a Titan body dies, then everything disappears. So she came to the conclusion that those Titans inside the wall are doing the same thing, that they hardened their skin, that's how they made the wall. And then she got an idea that maybe Eren could do the same thing, that they could use him to basically seal the holes inside of Walrose, and that with that they could potentially make like a small group of people which could overnight reach Walmaria, and they could already start with their operation, because now they're moving really slowly because they need to bring all their resources with them. But if Eren would actually be able to seal the holes, then they only would need him and some soldiers to protect him. And as I said during my reaction, I don't know if there's a proof that he can actually do it. I talked about this also during my post-reaction thoughts already. I guess we'll just have to see. As I said, I think he can do it, but for him to be able to seal a hole, I mean, he would have to master it, wouldn't he? So I don't know if he was sometimes even barely controlling his own Titan body. So there's no guarantee that he can actually control himself to that extent that he could seal a hole with this power. And then something that I really liked was when Levi said to him that he doesn't have any choice, he just has to do it. And then said that the soldiers are constantly battling, but at the end it's for nothing, in a way. He didn't say that he doesn't have hope or that he will stop fighting, but I definitely understand what he meant. He meant that if you really think about it, is there anything that the Survey Corps can achieve that would save the world? Especially considering that the Armored and Colossal Titan are still around. And even the female Titan would still be if not for Eren. Eren is really sort of like a shining light, a hope for humanity. Because just as Levi said, because they probably had countless of expeditions, missions, where they tried to find out more about the Titans, but they usually haven't learned anything. They usually had a lot of losses. So I think having Eren is really, he really gives them chances. That's something that I'll say. And then when they arrived at that district, that Levi took that priest to the streets so that the priest could learn in first hand what happens when a wall falls, how horrible is that for every person. And the priest was clearly shocked, but he didn't have a change of heart. He still was holding on to his own beliefs, but it did affect him in a way, seeing those people, because then he decided to at least share a bit of the information he knows. He told, of course, Hanji and everyone there that it's Christa, who they have sworn to protect, that her father is the one who they had to give an oath to, and that maybe she will be able to tell them more information. And so I think that's why then they decided that they will go to that castle. And before they went, Levi had like a mini speech for everyone, for Armin, Eren and Mikasa. And he still was dressed in that black dress, so it still seems as if he still is not capable to fight. The user Catix Coffee actually pointed that out in the comment section for episode 25 of season 1, that actually Levi's injury still hasn't healed, that him cutting out Eren of his Titan actually did not happen in the manga, that basically the anime creators decided to include that scene to please the fans of Attack on Titan, because Levi is really a popular character apparently. Because I really thought that after seeing that scene in episode 25, I really had a feeling that maybe his injury has healed, but that's not the case. And now I'm still returning to my original thought that we won't see Levi fight for a long time. I just have that kind of a feeling that this will be his story arc. You know, a lot of good storytellers put their characters in a situation where they lose their best attributes. Like Levi is one of, I think Levi is the best fighter of the Survey Corps. So now taking away his health means that he cannot fight anymore, you know, and now we'll see how he will react to this, how his character will develop through this. And also, that scene felt a bit, I don't know how to say, a bit emotional. Maybe on the surface not, but I got a sense that this is maybe a farewell between them. I think that they won't see each other for a long time, or that one of them will die before they see them again, before they see each other again. Like, because he really took his time and gave his advice to Armin, Mikasa, and Eren, and he really felt like a father, mentor figure. He was calm, he felt positive. You know, for most of season 1, when he was talking with Eren, he was usually trying to be really rough with Eren, trying to be hard with Eren. Here he wasn't. I don't know if this is something that now, because he really now developed a bond with Eren, or is this because of the injury that he became more humble, or is it because his squad died and maybe that affected him? I don't know, but definitely he really gave me some father vibes while he was talking to them. So then Hanji and Eren, Mikasa and Armin departed, and at the same time at the castle we were shown how, as I said, Reiner has caught Ymir doing something. Like, looking back at that scene, I think she had a candle in her arm, was kneeling and was looking inside a box. I don't know what she was doing, but she was super shocked in a way that Reiner caught her, so I don't know what she could be doing. There's anything that she could be maybe searching for, doing something, stealing something, I don't know. She could be also praying. That's an idea that I got, especially because, as I said, it seems as if she's trying to protect Christa, so she has the same goal as Priest Nick, so it could be safe to assume that maybe she has a connection with the religion. But then everyone in that building, in that castle, was interrupted by the Titans. There were so many Titans who arrived, and then all of the elder soldiers went to fight. That guy, I think his name is Kelgar, he got really pissed. I won't give up any spoilers, but I just want to ask if he is a JoJo reference, because when I was watching JoJo I learned that apparently there are many JoJo references in other anime, so I'm really curious. I can't really tell if that is a JoJo reference or not, but that guy Kelgar, his personality and his looks definitely remind me on a JoJo character. So just curious if anyone knows if that character was inspired by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And then Conny noticed the Beast Titan heading towards, I think probably Wall Shina, and then has climbed over Wall Shina. So this proved that he's the one who is making these titans. He's the one who climbed over Wall Rosse and is now creating these titans, and now has climbed over Wall Shina. Here's the interesting question, because I remember that someone cleared up the timeline for me, that the Beast Titan appeared before the Wall Titan awakened. So that means that the Beast Titan wasn't going for the Wall Titan, as I initially thought. I thought that his goal is to get to the Wall Titan. So now was the question, what is he looking for? Because if he's not searching for the Wall Titan, my first guess would be Ymir or Christa, but he passed by them. Maybe he wasn't aware that they're at that castle. But what could he potentially be looking for inside Wall Shina? Could he be maybe searching for Annie? I think that's the only thing, unless he wants to kill the king or something like this. Or maybe he's searching for Eren. I think those three are the possibilities. He either wants to kill the king, or kill the population inside Wall Shina to really, take the hope away from humanity, because if Wall Shina falls, then, well, there's no way they can escape anywhere. Maybe he wants to kill the king. Maybe he wants to get to Eren, and maybe he wants to get to Annie. I never had the feeling that Annie, the Armored and the Colossal Titan could be related or connected to the Beast Titan. I don't know. There's a possibility that everyone is cooperating. Maybe the Beast Titan is actually cooperating with the Armored and the Colossal Titan. I don't know. But definitely what's interesting to me is that he's definitely not trying to get to that Wall Titan. I was definitely wrong on that. That's where the episode ended. So now I'll talk about the information card. They showed us a bit of the information about those torches which they're using. I don't know if these torches have any special properties, as most of Attack on Titan items do. I think they're just regular torches, and that information card just explained why torches are really valuable to use during night operations, because they last long, and even if you throw them on the ground, they're still burning. So that was an interesting information. So yeah, for my predictions for the upcoming episode. Now I really have a feeling that we will at least get a reveal in one way, a big reveal in one way or another. Because now, considering that if Hanji and everyone else arrives at that castle, then they will definitely go and interrogate Christa. So maybe we will learn more about Christa. then Hanji is aware what was written in Ilsa's notebook. That could mean that we might have a potential reveal about Ymir's secrets. The only way I see that maybe we won't have any big reveals is if those guys in that castle will have to run away, or maybe if everyone dies because there are so many titans attacking them. I also have a feeling that maybe if Ymir or Berthold or Christa are titan shifters, that one of them will change, because none of them have any gear. And I have a feeling that maybe all of those elder soldiers will die. Also, then these young rookies will be forced to fight, but without any equipment, they have no chance against the titans. So, like, maybe if Berthold is a titan user, he might change, show his true form, and this could be a reveal about him. So, one thing for my final thoughts, I want to just mention Jean, because I said that I will. I'm definitely curious why we haven't seen him anymore, because he really, because at the end of season 1, he really felt as if he maybe is now a member of the friendship group of Armin, Eren, and Mikasa. He had a great bond and chemistry with both Eren and Armin. So it's really weird that we haven't seen him, like, even saying his goodbyes, at least. I just hope that he won't receive, how should I say, Hannes treatment. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Hannes should be one of the main characters, but I do remember then after watching at the beginning of season 1 that I personally really expected, after seeing episode 1 and 2, that Hannes will play a big role in this show. Like, my feelings were, because first of all, I never expected that. I did expect that a time skip will happen at one point, that Eren will grow up, but I didn't know that it will happen so fast. So I believed that Hannes would be our go-to action guy if we will need someone, and that he will basically fill the void which Eren's mom has left behind, and that he will be a parent figure to Eren and Mikasa, a father-like figure to them. But then he sort of like disappeared for most of the show, so I hope that this doesn't happen to Jean. When I made my top 5 favorite characters at the end of season 1, he was included. And in my personal opinion, he was the best character of season 1. From a storytelling perspective, his development, his personality, he was really relatable, so I really liked him. He had such a fantastic chemistry with Eren. Their scenes were always good. He had now a great bond with Armin also. I'm glad that in this season they're really putting some attention towards Ymir, Christa, Berthold, Reiner, Conny, and Sasha. Like, all of these characters gained a lot of attention, so that's really a great thing. But still, I hope that Jean is not that Jean will still be featured in a large role, because he is a fantastic character and there's so much that could be done with him. So I really hope that we will see him again. But yeah, that's it for this video. Definitely thank you again for helping me to reach 500 subscribers. It's definitely something that it's still astonishing to me. Again, thank you all, and I'll see you when I'll be watching episode 4. So take care and see you soon.